person in Granville counties, and I'm going to teach your workshop here about make meals easier. I've got everybody on mute right now, and I've got you kind of locked so you can't unmute yourself. I don't have a problem with questions, but I want to make sure we get through the presentation. So I want you to try to hold your questions to the end. You can feel free to type them in the chat box so you don't forget them, or just write them down. And then we'll get to those questions after the class, because I know some people only have a very short lunch window break for this workshop. So we're going to jump right in, and hopefully we'll give you some tips or ideas, as well as show you some resources of how to make meals easier with regards to meal planning. And all of this information I will email out to all of you after the workshop's over. I'll even send you a recording of the webinar for some reason if you miss some of it or have to leave early, or even if you just want to share the information with someone else. Okay. So let me click on here. So why plan meals? Well, when I've talked to people about meal planning, about why this topic interests them, basically these are some of the reasons I either get, or the ones that I give to people of why they should plan meals. You're more likely to have nutritious meals because you've thought about it. You've had to go to the store to get fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You're not just finding, what's in your cabinet, or even worse, just running to the local fast food place and buying something that's high calorie, high fat, high salt. It also just reduces stress. Once you get into that routine of planning your meals out, it's not as stressful when you come home and you're going through all your cabinets and you're trying to figure out, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Because I know for me, having a family of 5, having to try to appease this person, appease that person, and balance it out, but still make sure it's healthy, can be very stressful. And when I come home from work, that's the last thing I want to do. I want something easy. I'd love it if the meal was already sitting on the table, but that's not always gonna happen. And over time, it will save you time and it will save you money. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I go to the grocery store and I buy my stuff, and then I have good intentions. I have kind of a rough plan of what I'm going to use the food for, but then it sits there. Stuff comes up. We just run to the fast food place, or we just are eating leftovers, or just doing something random. Like everybody, free for all, get whatever you want and you eat it yourself. So I waste food because the fresh fruits and vegetables that I bought only last so long. Or the meat that I bought to cook something last week, I had to stick it in the freezer. And now when I come home tonight, it's frozen. I don't have time to thaw it for a meal. So it will save you time and money because you've already done some of the work ahead of time. So when you come home after work, you only have to do a little bit. Maybe you've already done some prep, or you can use the chicken that you cooked last night in a completely new way tonight. So we're going to give you some different, tricks or tips, as well as, again, I have other resources from other universities. They give you example calendars and actually have recipes within those calendars. So you can use some of their recipes, or I'm going to show you even some other websites that everything is in it. You have recipes. You can take those recipes and plan your weekly meals, and then you can take that plan and now put it into a grocery list. The entire website will do it for you. So, as well as there's different apps that we'll talk about too. It increases the appeal because I want it to be something that I enjoy as well as my family enjoys. So it's got to meet all of the different demands and the needs of my families. And all of these different things, I'm going to reduce the waste. I'm going to waste less food, and I'm going to have more nutrition in my meals. They're going to look better. They're going to taste better because I just took a little bit of time, maybe on the weekend, maybe at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week, whatever suits your schedule best. And I took time to set aside to plan my meals. So what does it involve when we're planning ahead? We just need a little bit of good planning because that can stretch your budget. You can buy, one packet of family pack of chicken, or the, it's got 6 chicken breasts in there, each about a pound. You can buy that and it can last you all week long for different meals, but different types of meals. So it's not just, oh my God, I had chicken every night this week and it's a boring meal, something different. You know, you had chicken stir fry one night. You had chicken fajitas another night. You had chicken salad one night. You know, took that chicken and put it on top of a salad or mixed it in with something completely new. I've put chicken in my spaghetti before because I had some leftover chicken from something. You know, who cares? It doesn't have to be beef. It doesn't have to be turkey. It can be chicken, you know, whatever you want to put it in. So there's some things to think about. At the beginning of the month or the beginning of the week, or whenever you start, how much money do you have that you can spend? You know, and we're going to go into that a little bit more, but just overall, how much money do you spend on food now? You probably would like to decrease that amount. You know, we always want to save money. So how much is your ideal? You know, how much money now? Or maybe you were spending $200 a month and now you've only got $100 a month to spend to feed your family. Can you do that? And how can you do it? You can't. It just requires some planning. Looking at what you already have on hand. I know that I've got a lot of things shoved in my pantry. It might just take me a day or an afternoon to go through what's in my pantry, make a list of it. And then as I use it, you know, cross it off. There might be stuff I've had in there that got shoved in the back of the pantry to the corner or whatever, and I don't even know if it's there. So definitely I'm going to waste food because by the time I find it, it's going to be plenty expired by then. Looking at what's on sale. It might be looking at your grocery store circulars or, you know, if there's a butcher or something that's special on sale. Now, you don't want to just buy stuff because it's on sale. If you have no plans to use it or use the amount that you'll buy. I've seen some stuff, I just need a little bit of, you know, chicken. I don't need a whole chicken or, you know, whatever it is. And then what sounds good? All of these things, we want it to be healthy for you, but if it doesn't taste good, you're going to get home and you're going to have a plan to make this particular recipe. But if it doesn't sound good, as soon as you get home, you're going to change your mind. You're going to be like, I don't want that. You know, it's not really appealing to me. And you're going to end up probably eating something that's less nutritious. So we always go back to the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, or recycle. So reduce the amount that you're purchasing. So buy less. Now, I would love it if you could go to the grocery store 1 time a month, because that will save you a lot of money because you're not getting all these impulse buys. You're not just, oh, I see some candy or, oh, I see this is on sale. And every time you go to the grocery store, think about it. You go with a list and you need like 5 things and you come out with 20 things. So reducing the amount that you're purchasing, sticking straight to the list, you know, walking in straight to what you need and walking out, not looking at anything else, or going just 1 time a month. So you are going less often and you have less amount of time that you're, you know, getting tempted by all these other things. Reuse it in the menu. So again, this is kind of what I was talking about with my chicken. You know, I could have, you know, I could put chicken in my lasagna. So I'm having like an Italian meal one night. And then I could take some leftover chicken and put it in a fajita. So basically I can get chicken, cook all of my chicken on the grill Sunday night, and that food, that chicken is still good for an entire week. And you're putting it in different meals, or you could cook twice a week. I'm going to cook on Sunday, and then Wednesday I'm going to cook another batch of something. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night is chicken type meals. And then you cook pork tenderloin or something. And so the next 3 nights, you're going to reuse that pork tenderloin in new, completely different meals. So you have different taste tests, different flavors every night. You know, you're not just having another sandwich or putting it in another wrap. You're spicing it up. You're adding different flavors to it. One night I have like a plain rotisserie chicken. The next night I take that rotisserie chicken and I marinate it a little bit, or I cook it with some other herbs and spices to make it taste completely different. You can also recycle different things. So again, just because it's gone bad, keep those bananas, you know, throw them in the freezer, use them for banana bread, use them for fruit smoothies. There's a lot of different things that you can freeze. We've got information on how to freeze items if you know, are interested in that, or if you have something specific that I always have this left over and I don't know what to do with it. We'll tell you how to do that. And we'll even talk about freezer meals as well. So that first step, when we tell you to decide on a food budget, how much money can you spend for the month? What we recommend is you keep track of your food expenses for 1 week. Okay, so I mean, you can start it now on Tuesday, from this Tuesday to next Tuesday. Every time you spend money on food, whether it's the grocery store, the gas station, restaurant, anything, write down how much money that you spend on food for an entire week. And then think about some of the staples, you know, those things that you have in your pantry or that you always need. You know, you always need some bread and some milk or juice or just whatever your staples are. You know, you don't need flour if you never ever bake anything, or if you never make anything that you need flour for. So we have an example here of, you know, if you spend, let me see, $75 a week on food. 4 weeks in a month, do that math, so you got $300. $300 is your monthly budget that you can spend on food. Now, you know that you have certain staples that you need every month, so that's about $140 then. So that leaves you with $160 left over. Again, divide that by 4 weeks, and that gives you $40. If you want to spend all $160 in that first week and you've been to the grocery store for the rest of the month, you're done with your food, that's fine. If you want to save a little bit of money, you know, I'm going to go out once or twice this week, just know that you only have about $40 a week for those perishable items, you know, those things that won't last a month. That might be your fast food. So cutting out fast food is going to help your nutrition as well as help your wallet a whole lot. Okay. But even if you don't do that, sticking to a budget will help it as well. So there's some basic steps to meal planning, and we're going to go through each one of these. We want you to create a meal list. So things that, you know, not a plan yet, just a list of, give me 10 of your favorite meals that you love to eat. Then take stock of your supplies that you have already at your house that make up those meals. And then create an actual plan. You can do it just for a week. I wouldn't try to plan out for a month or anything like that yet. Even if you want to plan for 3 days, you know, I'm gonna make a plan for 3 days. Then you make your shopping list, and we're gonna talk to you about shopping smarter, making sure you're actually sticking to that list. And then don't forget your leftovers. You know, you can have a meal plan, but you're gonna have leftovers probably from some of those meals. What are you gonna do with those leftovers? Are you gonna incorporate them in another night's meal? Or is that just your lunch every day when you go to work? That's perfectly fine. But don't forget about those, because we don't want you to get to the end of the week and you have a fridge full of leftovers, and you're not going to want them. So number one, creating a meal list. Again, this is your meal list. I'm not going to give you one. I mean, I'll show you different places you can get recipes, but these are your favorite meals, things that you enjoy, things that you know how to cook, and or things that you want to learn how to cook. So you could try new recipes. We always encourage people to try new recipes. Now, some tips for making that list. Group them together, you know, group them by that main dish. Is this a chicken dish? Is this a pork dish? You know, what is it? Label foods that you usually have leftover or that can be frozen. So I know that, you know, if I make a lasagna, a 9x13 lasagna, I'm going to have leftovers. You know, my family of 5 is not going to finish that entire pan. So I'm going to have leftovers. So I need to write that in my brain, leftovers. But I know that the salmon dish I had last night, the kids are going to clean that, you know, completely up. So I'm never going to have that kind of leftover. Certain things freeze better than others. My lasagna is going to freeze well. But some, you know, my little side dishes are not going to probably freeze that well, or it's not enough to freeze. And then label which of those meals on your list either are healthy options, or again, you could tweak with a little bit of a healthier options, because we do want you to be thinking about nutrition when you're making your meal list too. So you got that list. Now you're going to kind of take and just put it over to the side here a little bit. You need to kind of have a general idea of what's in those ingredients that you need. But then you go through your refrigerator, your freezer, your pantry, see what you already have. And this might be a completely separate step from that list. You need to take stock of your pantry and your supply list no matter what, whether you're doing meal planning or not. We all kind of need to go through and organize our pantry probably better. Organize it so we know what's in there, and write it down if you have to. You know, I'm not talking about doing this all the time. This could be a once a month you go through and, you know, clean out your fridge or clean out your pantry or whatever. If you have stuff in your pantry that I don't even know why I bought this, you know, I'm not going to eat this, or I had good plans to use it, but it doesn't really look like something I want right now. If it's still within, you know, the expiration date, it hasn't expired, donate it to your local food pantry, you know, or donate it to somebody else. Don't just throw it away just because you don't want it anymore. Keeping a list of staples as well is very important, because I am always going and buying something that I already have like 2 bottles or boxes of in my pantry. I don't know if that's just me or if that's all of us, but and part of the reason I do that is because I make recipes at work and then I make recipes at home. So I forget that I think, oh, I don't have this at my house. Well, I do, but I don't have it at work. So I get those 2 pantries confused in my head sometimes. So I try to do a good job of, as soon as I open the last bottle of something, I'll put it back on my shopping list. So I know that by the time I go, I'm going to have used whatever this is. You might need to, you know, purchase, if you don't have certain cookware or certain materials that you need. If you're not a big cook, but you want to start doing that, you know, some basic stuff. You know, you don't need all of these contraptions or all of this huge 12 pan set. You just kind of need a good pan, good chef's knife, you know, cutting board, maybe 1 or 2 cutting boards, measuring cups, you know, basic kind of stuff. So take stock of what you have, and not even what you have. You might just need to replace some of it. I know I've got some stuff that is probably as old as I am, so I need to update some of that stuff. Then once you've done that, you're going to take that list of meals and you're going to take that list of supplies that you have, and you're going to create your meal plan. Again, just do it for 1 week at a time. Then you can build up to maybe, you know, 2 weeks, or if you know, want to go crazy and eventually do it for a month, do that. We recommend using a meal planning calendar. I mean, you can just get a normal calendar, you know, Monday through Sunday, and write down, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, but don't forget those snacks too. And we'll show you some samples, and I'll email you some samples of meal planning calendars that you can, you know, write on, or you can even type straight into. We want you to focus on the My Plate, the image that's on this screen here, to get the nutritious side of it. So we don't want you just having meat, bread, potatoes. Cool, I planned a meal. You know, another meat, bread, potatoes, planned a meal. We want it to be healthy for you, or at least trying to get a little bit healthier. If you're taking the time to plan it, make sure that half of your plate is fruits and vegetables. Then you have the other half is the grains. We prefer whole grains, and then protein. Lean protein is specifically what we are looking at. I don't care if it's red meat, if it's chicken, if it's fish or whatever, you know, I mean, healthier for you. The fish is always a good option, but if you don't like fish, then don't even try it. You know, don't worry about that. Focus on the white meat of the chicken, because the darker meat usually has more calories to it. Red meat, we just want you to get the lean cuts, you know, making sure if you're getting ground beef, you're getting the 93.7, you know, percent fat thing versus the 70-30 package there. You don't want 30% of that meat to be fat. You want the lesser amounts. Also, portion size is very important with the protein. We say your size is in the palm of your hands. Okay, so the palm of my hand, about 3 to 5 ounces is a serving of protein, a serving of meat. So that's another reason to reduce going out to eat, is because you're getting a bigger portion. You know, you're not going to get 3 to 5 ounces of a steak. You're going to get 8 ounces, 10 ounces, 12 ounces. So there are some websites that we recommend you search for recipes for. I will show you those after the actual presentation, but whenever I'm looking for recipes, I write newspaper articles, and every week I put a recipe in with my article. I don't just create these recipes. I go use other extension resources. So when you can, you know, Google it, but don't just Google recipe. Put the word extension, you know, cooperative extension is North Carolina, but just put extension, healthy recipes, you know, and it'll take you to Florida extension, Arkansas extension, North Dakota, all extension, the extension service is all across the country. So a lot of them have wonderful websites with wonderful recipes. Some of them are very good about, on a budget. Some of them are specific. This is a diabetes, website for recipes. I think that's Illinois has a really good diabetes website. But you can also go to the diabetes.org, the heart.org, or the choosemyplate.gov website. So if a website is a .org or a .gov or a .edu, which the extension ones are going to be .edu, it's an organizational, a government, or an educational website. Those are the good ones. If you're going to like allrecipes.com, anybody and everybody can put a recipe on there, okay? I'm not saying it won't be tasty. It probably will, but it probably has about a half a pound of butter in it too. So a lot of them don't have nutritional analysis on their recipes. So you don't know serving size. You don't know how much you're supposed to eat. You have no idea how many calories are in that thing. So I'll show you some of these websites in just a little bit. So I took some screenshots of some of the websites that I will send you this meal planning calendar. It's from Iowa State University Extension. So this is just a sample meal planning calendar. I think it has like 3 months worth or 3 weeks worth of meal planning ideas. So on here, if you'll notice, you see like the first day one, it says easy quiche for breakfast, and you see it's underlined. That is a link. So when I send you this calendar, you can go into this PDF and you can click on the easy quiche, and it will open up to the Iowa State University website to their recipe for that particular food. So I've got one from the Iowa State University, and I've got, I think, Kentucky University. They all have meal planning calendars where they have put recommended meals, some of the people's favorites. And this one has breakfast, lunch, dinner, but they also did some snacks. So you can get healthy ideas for snacks. So I'm going to send you this PDF link, and it's going to have like 50 different recipes within this document. Okay. Also, the diabetes.org organization, it's the American Diabetes Association. They have a website that's their Diabetes Food Hub. Again, I'll send this all to you, but they have a ton of recipes. So you can browse the recipe. You can save them as your favorites with a little star, my recipe. So you can create a free account. It's just a login and password. You can save them into your favorites. It's kind of like saving them in your cookbooks. Then you can take those recipes and plan specific meals out. Then you can take that meal plan that you've created, and it will create a grocery list for you, okay? So you don't have all these different steps. This website makes it easier. Find the recipes you love, put them in your cookbook, pull them out of your cookbook, put them in your meal plan calendar, and then it will create a grocery list for you. So you don't have to sit there and write every ingredient down. You can just print out what they give to you, okay? So that's one way to do it. Also, using your cell phone, using your smartphone. There's a wide variety of apps where you can create grocery lists, or you can have a cookbook of recipes. So I have one on my phone, and it's just called Recipe Book. And I can put my list of, my recipes in here, and it'll categorize them for me. It'll put them in alphabetical order. So when I'm looking for it, I can do it. And I can take that and, again, put it into a grocery list. So when I go to the grocery store, I have my grocery list on my phone. And the grocery list items came directly from my cookbook. So I'll send you the different apps that I use, and you can just play with them. They're all free because I'm cheap and I'm not going to pay for anything. So they're all completely free. You don't have to worry about that. But making that shopping list. So using the information from the previous steps that you've already done and creating that grocery list. So the AnyList app logo that's on here, that is my grocery store app that I use. And I think it's for Apple products. I don't know if the Droid has that one. I don't think they do, but they have a different one. So whatever phone you have, just kind of look up grocery store lists. You can look at the ratings of that app, the comments, what people say, and think about it. I use this one, and this is an app that I have on my phone, and my husband has it on his phone too. So I can add stuff to the grocery list and he can add stuff to the grocery list. And after work or during the middle of the day, I can just run to the grocery store and get whatever's on my list. And I don't have to, where's my piece of paper? You know, I don't have to worry about my paper that I left at home, but all of a sudden I wanted to go to the grocery store. Or if I was planning to go to the grocery store, but then that didn't work out, I can just tell my husband, okay, hey, can you pick up the stuff that's on the list? He's got the same list I do because it's on his phone. So that's what we do. We can share it with people. For a while, my parents were living in the same house as me. I could put them on the list and they could add stuff to the list. So we all had access to see it, to edit it. And it put the list in the order of the sections of the grocery store. So it had, okay, here's all the produce stuff together, the meat stuff together, the dairy aisle together. So it was very easy when I went to the grocery store to just kind of go around to all the different sections. And all of my grocery items were listed in the different categories, in the different section. It made going to the grocery store much easier because what I used to do is, like everyone else, I had a piece of paper and, everything, it was not ordered in the sections. It was just whatever I thought about it. When I thought about it, I made the list. So I might have something in the dairy list up here and then something down here. And I'm having to go back and forth to different sections of the store because, oh, I forgot this thing that's down here. So I got to go back to the dairy aisle. So this has saved me time at the grocery store. If you don't want to do an app, that's completely fine. The USDA has this other little page right here, just making your own paper lists. And you can make your own fruits, veggies, grains, protein, dairy when you're making your meal plan. Because that way you'll also see, wow, I don't have anything in the fruits and veggie section. Maybe I need to rethink my plan. It's not the healthiest thing I could do if you're completely forgetting half of your plate there. So you can do it that way, break it up into the 5 food groups, whatever works for you to make your shopping list, whether it's with a paper, with an app, any of it is perfectly fine. When you do go to the grocery store, if you can't shop once a month, we definitely recommend at least shopping only once a week. Any time that you can limit the amount of time you're going to the grocery store, that's more money that you're going to save. So if you can do it every other week, great. Try that. Do not shop hungry. I think you've probably all heard this before because then you start looking for munchies, or, ooh, I need a candy bar or something like that. And they always catch you with their sales. I try store brands. Pretty much everything I buy is store brand, except for very, very few items because it's cheaper. Even if I have a coupon, the store brand is still going to be cheaper than the name brand with a coupon. I mentioned shopping the perimeter of the store. So the kind of the outside edges of the store is what we want you to do. Because all that stuff that's kind of in the middle in the aisles of your grocery store, that's going to be the more processed stuff, the boxes, the bags, the cans. Not saying you can't purchase any of that, but just that's where you want to limit your time is in those inner aisles. Now, if you're going to the cans, veggie section or the canned fruit, that's perfectly fine because you need fruits and veggies. I don't care if they're from the fresh section, the canned section, or the frozen section. I just want you to eat more fruits and veggies. Because I will tell you, buy a mixture. I'll go to the grocery store. Sometimes I'm able and I can only go like one time a month. And so I buy everything at that point. I'm buying the fresh stuff and I'm going to use that for about the first week and a half of my month. Then the next week and a half, I might use the canned. And then the last week, I'm going to use the frozen stuff. Okay. So that way I only have to go. I'm getting the perishable stuff and I'm using that the first week or week and a half. The next week, that's when I go more to even if it's canned chicken, or I freezer stuff. I'm going to pull out the chicken I have in the freezer. We recommend you don't impulse buy. So if it's not on your list, do you really need it? I often, I say the same thing to the adults that I say to my own children. Is that a need or a want? So that can be a conversation you have in your head as well, is do I need this for any of my recipes? Now, it might be you just need it for your sanity because everything going on right now, if you need a little bit of chocolate, go buy you a little chocolate. That's fine. But overall, we recommend staying away from the snack aisle or the candy aisle or the chips or soda aisle, whatever is your weakness. Try to stay away from that aisle, portion control, smaller amounts, different things like that. Other ways to shop smarter when you're at the grocery store is read the nutrition labels. How many servings is in this? So that'll help you with your meal planning. If you're buying, some rice or some pasta or something like that, how much is a serving size? So, if you cook this whole bag of rice, you might have a ton of leftovers. So maybe only cook half of it. You need to do that so you're not throwing away half of your bag of rice because nobody wants it because this day is old. And then look at the unit pricing. So when you go shopping, they have the retail price, which is kind of what we look at. The main, that's the price there. But in the corner, usually it's the top left of that price tag, it's either in yellow or orange around here, is a smaller price. That's the unit price. It'll say, per ounce, per pound, depending on, whatever the weight of it is. So when I buy this bag of chips, yes, the bag is going to cost me $3, okay? But the unit price is, I don't know, $1 per ounce or something like that, whatever, So I can comparison shop with that unit price. Because if I'm buying a bag that's 12 ounces right here, and then I have a bag that's 18 ounces, the 18 ounces is going to cost more because it's more food. But if I look at that unit price, it could be that the 18 ounces one is less per ounce. So if this is 50 cents per ounce and this is 60 cents per ounce, this is really going to cost me less as long as I'm going to eat all of it. Okay, so don't overbuy just because it's on sale or because you can get 10 for $10 or a bulk package or whatever. Perfect example, I always tell people, it is cheaper if you buy a bag of apples, like a 3-pound bag of apples. But if you are not going to eat the entire 3-pound bag of apples before they rot, then you're just literally throwing your savings away. So buy 4 apples individually instead of a 3-pound bag. It'll cost you more per apple, but you'll still save money because you won't be wasting an entire 3 pounds or 2 pounds of the 3-pound bag. And then the last step for meal planning is just have a plan for your leftovers. So you don't always need to, I'm going to cook this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, because you need plan for your leftovers. Again, it might be that you are just using your leftovers for lunch each day. That is perfectly fine. But it might be that you want to recycle your leftovers. Again, I had a rotisserie chicken, or I cooked a whole chicken last night. And then we always have leftover chicken of something like that. I'm going to take the chicken off the bone or whatever else, and I'm going to put it into something, whether it's that stir fry, whether it's a wrap, whether it's fajitas, whether it's tacos or lasagna or whatever it is. Have a plan for it. So you don't just have, we've got rotisserie chickens still in the fridge from 3 days ago. I will ask my family for ideas. It doesn't mean I'll follow them because again, I have, 3 kids in the house and they always have wonderful ideas, but they're not always the healthiest. And especially if they don't like something, their idea will just be to throw it away. So I do try to do a variety. So it could be I cooked chicken last night. So I might not use that chicken for dinner tonight, but I plan to use that chicken for my dinner tomorrow night, and then tonight we'll have salmon, but tomorrow we'll have that leftover chicken there. Then I'll cook turkey. Then if I have leftover salmon. So, even if it's every other day, you're eating a leftover thing. Sometimes we get to the end of the week and Friday is just freebie Friday. Whatever is in the fridge, clean it out, leftovers. It might not go together, but we're going to eat it together. I don't care if it's, you got the, the veggie that went with the chicken, you're going to eat it with the fish, whatever. We are cleaning out the fridge because I'm not throwing stuff away. I do try to keep it simple since I do have young children. There are going to be those nights that I don't feel like cooking much of anything. So it could be that's where I get some of the slightly processed stuff. I'm getting a bag of instant or a box of instant rice or something. Um, Even though it's not always the healthiest or the greatest, it's still better than if I had gone and gotten fast food. I can, okay, instead of me cooking the fresh veggies, that's going to be a can night. So I'm going to open up a can of butter beans or green beans or whatever, and that's the veggie we're going to have. I'm going to open my bag of instant rice and throw it in the microwave, or a steam bag, a frozen steam bag of veggies too. So I'm still trying to be healthy, even on those nights I don't have time. I can throw the rice in the microwave for 90 seconds. I can throw the steam bag of broccoli into the microwave for 2 minutes. I can, pull out some leftover meat. I can open canned chicken and make chicken fajitas, with it. It doesn't always have to be something completely fresh. Don't forget beans. Black beans are a wonderful source of protein. You don't have to have meat every single night, even though my husband tells me otherwise. But you don't have to do that. I don't care if it's peanut butter sandwich. You can just have a plain sandwich night. Or it's, hey, we're going to open up a can of soup night. It doesn't have to be these elaborate 3-course meals. Keep it simple. I do try to just cook once and, eat at least twice off of it. So, I try to always have some kind of a leftover, or at least a plan for that leftover. So trying to balance that. Again, that might just be where I buy that big bulk packet of chicken, put it on the grill, like all of it, Sunday night. And then Monday night, I'm having one piece of the chicken breast every night, because each chicken breast in a family pack is about 1 pound. So that's about all I need for most of my recipes, is 1 pound of chicken. So I went ahead and cooked all 6 chicken breasts while I had the grill heated up on Sunday night. And then, like I said, Mondays and Tuesday, all of it is different plans for the chicken. You can try theme nights too, if you want to, have a little bit of fun with it. Everyone's heard probably of Taco Tuesday, Salmon Saturday, or Salad Saturday. They don't have to have the same letter. Breakfast for dinner Thursday. Even if it's a pizza night, instead of going out and buying pizza, making your own pizza. Now, you don't have to do it from scratch. You don't have to make your own dough or whatever. They have the pizza dough that you can buy, get some sauce, put some different, veggies. You can put your pepperoni on there too. It's going to be much healthier for you than if you went to a pizza place and bought a pizza. We'll make mini pizzas. We will get either the little pizza doughs, the little tortilla kind of things, or even we'll do English muffins. We'll get English muffin, cut it in half, and there's 2 little pizzas right there. Put some pizza sauce, some cheese. You could put, mushrooms or veggies or pepperoni, whatever little stuff you want to put on there. Put that in the oven, cook it, and each of the kids have made their own little mini pizzas. And so everybody gets to make their own pizza. And it makes them more likely to eat stuff if the kids help out making it, okay? So there are a couple of, we call them dangerous persuaders. Again, time. We want you to get in, get out of the store, because the longer you're there, the more you're going to see things that you need. Remember that look up and look down when you're looking at the grocery store shelves, because they put all the stuff at eye level that is most expensive. Okay. So you probably didn't know that, but look down or look up, and that's where you'll find more of the cheaper items. It might not be name brand, but that's where you're going to find more of the cheaper stuff, because they kind of put it out of your eyesight, out of sight, out of mind, basically. And that's also why they love having those temptations. They have the chips, they have the candy right at the aisle where you're buying your groceries. It's often very expensive convenience food. So anytime you're buying something new that you've never tried before, buy the small package first, just try a little bit of it. And, then you can go from there. I'll do that with my family. We cooked some okra last night, and I don't think my girls had okra before, and I just roasted it. So I just gave them, I only cut up a little bit of it. I know I love okra, but I didn't want a ton of okra. I didn't want to have to eat all of my girls' okra and my okra too. So I just kind of gave them a little bit and they loved it, thankfully. So next time I'll cook more of the okra that we have from the garden because now I know that they love it. Convenience. Making it yourself is going to save you money and make you healthier. Okay. I always tell people, I'm like, look, you want your fried chicken and you want, whatever you would get from one of your fast food restaurants, you can have it. Make it yourself. We always tell people you can eat whatever you want, but we want you to make it yourself because it's healthier when you cook it than when you go to a fast food place and cook it, as well as it's a lot more expensive at a fast food place. Again, I always tell people to decide what's more important to them, convenience or time. Because if you want to save time, you can buy the pre-cut, onions, the pre-cut tomatoes, the pre-washed, pre-cut bag of lettuce. But if you want to save money, then you're going to need to buy the head of lettuce and cut it up yourself. It's going to be cheaper that way. Buying the fruits and the veggies yourself and having to cut them up. So you kind of have to pick which one is, which one's more important to you. And then coupons. Again, I mentioned that I don't use coupons. I just buy store brand names. So even with the coupon, usually for the name brands, the generic of that store brand is typically going to cost you less. Then, again, some stores do double, triple coupon days, or they'll match something from another store, or they've got some crazy incentive things. Figure out what your grocery store does and what, items or incentives or whatever they have, because they all differ from store to store or even town to town. Okay, hold on. It doesn't want to click to the next. There we go. Okay. Couple of other things when we're planning our meals is, again, having a little bit of time doesn't mean you just always have to go to fast food. You can do your meal planning. I don't care if you're doing it while you're watching your favorite TV show. Just get your paper and, okay, this is what I want to have Monday night. You can do it during commercials, wherever. Anytime you have a little bit of time, just pull out your little pad and start writing some of your meals down and think about your schedule. You can use those convenience foods. I mentioned the instant rice, the pre-cut veggies, whatever. If you do have money or you do have other items already available to you, microwaves, crockpots, Instapots, food processors, any of those lovely kitchen gadgets, if you want to spend the money on it, they can save you time, but you don't have to. Okay, that's kind of a choice and a preference there. Don't forget that there's a variety of methods of preparation too. So you don't always have to cook it the same way. So if you're looking at saving time, maybe you've got a crazy busy week. I know this past week we had Vacation Bible School at my church and I was kind of helping with it. So I had to get the kids home, we had to eat, then we had to get on it was virtual through a Zoom. We had to do the Zoom and then we had to do the crafts for the next night Vacation Bible School. Because they were at camp during the day. So it was just a crazy week. So I planned that in my head. This night was going to be leftovers, or this night was going to be, I put something in the crock pot and it cooked during the day, or, Instapot or whatever you have. So thinking about that, thinking about different cooking methods. Again, I mentioned the steam bag veggies or the instant things of rice that you can just throw in the microwave. The casserole dishes, whether it's lasagna or something like that, you're cooking in one pan, in one dish. So that'll help cut down on the amount of cleanup that you have. If you want to use a crock pot, we've got information about how to change some of your recipes. So if you have a recipe that you love and usually you bake it in the oven, you can convert that recipe to a crock pot. So that might save you time. You don't have time to prep it or just, whatever else, or you don't have time to, when you get home, wait 45 minutes for this thing to bake in the oven. You've got the crock pot that's been cooking all day. So this kind of tells you how to convert those recipes. If your recipe says cook it for this amount of time, this is how long you want to do it, either on the low or the high setting in your crock pot. There's a couple of little parameters. You want to reduce the liquid in some of your recipes. If it's a pasta thing, you add the pasta at the ends because you don't want to be having that pasta in there for 4 hours in the crock pot, or you can cook it separately. If you're adding milk, cheese, or cream, you only add that about an hour before serving it. You don't want to fill it up to the brim because again, it's going to be bubbling and different things like that. So this is just a little bit of information about converting the recipes you already have to a crock pot. Some people are really big on freezer meals. You know, again, I put Iowa State University up here. They've got on their recipe page, they have an entire section, you know, they break it up into, oh, here's our chicken dishes, here's our beef dishes, here's our whatever. They also have one section of their page that this is a one pot or slow cooker meals. So some of them, you know, you could put them in a bag and stick it in the freezer. So a month from now, you come and you just pour that bag in the crock pot, and then you're good to go. Let it cook. They do recommend for other things, like if you're making, say, a lasagna, you freeze it before you bake it. Because what I'll do sometimes, I'll give you a perfect example. I don't need a 9x13 pan of lasagna. My family's not going to eat it all. I don't even think we'll eat half. And then we're going to be eating the leftovers for like days. So instead of making a 9x13 pan of lasagna, I'll put it in 2 8x8 pans. One of them I will cook now, and that's what my family's having. So we don't, you know, I'm limiting the amount of leftovers. That second 8x8 pan, I'm going to put that in the freezer. Now, I'm not going to use my regular pans because I don't want to have a pan, like a real pan, in my freezer unavailable for me to use for an entire month or however long it's in the freezer. So I'll get those aluminum, you know, pans that they have at the store. I'll put that 8x8 in there, and use, some of them have lids, or you just put aluminum foil. I'll stick that 8x8 in the freezer. So a month from now, I've already prepared my lasagna. I have frozen this lasagna before I baked it. And then I'll pull that out, bake it. And then I've got 2, you know, I only made it one time, one lasagna, but I've got 2 meals out of it. Or you can freeze it. So that's me freezing it in a meal. You can freeze it in individual servings. So sometimes what I'll do is, again, I might bake the entire lasagna, 9x13. We're going to eat half of it. That other half, I'm going to cut into like individual servings, almost like brick size. I'm going to wrap each individual brick up in aluminum foil, and I'm going to stick those in my freezer. So then, say in a month or a week or whatever else, I need something for lunch today at work. So I don't have to go out and grab me some fast food somewhere. I will pull that lasagna, you know, cube, brick, whatever out, and I'll take it to work, and I'll heat it up in the microwave there. So I've frozen it in individual servings, or I've frozen an entire meal. However you want to do it, depending on, you know, the size of your family, or if it's just you or one other person, whatever. Make sure that you are using certain types of freezer wraps. You know, this is for, you know, this is a freezer bag. You know, there's a difference between a storage bag and a freezer bag. That this container, whether it's a Rubbermaid container, is for the freezer, because otherwise it's not going to seal tight enough, and you're going to get oxygen in it, and you're going to get freezer burn, and that food's going to be wasted, and you're going to have to throw it away. You do need to label it with the date so you know how long it's been in there, as well as you know what it is. If I have a container, it's hard for me to tell, is this soup, is this chili, is this stew, what is this? You know, I can see this is some type of casserole. Is this a tuna noodle casserole, or is this my beef lasagna? What is this? So I need a label of the date and directions. You know, how am I supposed to cook this? Or, you know, whatever I need to know. Typically, when you get something for the freezer, you're going to bake it uncovered at about 400 degrees. You could take, you know, an hour or two. Because normally when I'm baking a fresh lasagna, you know, it could be 45 minutes anyway. But if I have lasagna that I'm pulling out of the freezer, it's much colder. So depending on if you can thaw it, you're going to bake it for a little bit longer at just a high enough temperature. Okay. So this is kind of the main gist of this presentation for meal planning. Again, I'm going to show you a couple other quick websites and meal planning calendars, and I will, you know, see if you have any questions as well. But I also want to tell you about our upcoming workshop. So I've went ahead and planned the next 3 because I'm going to be doing some other different programs. So I wanted to go ahead and get them on my calendar. So the next one's going to be 2 weeks from today because I've been doing them every 2 weeks. August 18th. That one is specifically on counting carbohydrates. So the last one I did was on managing diabetes, and I had some people who already have diabetes that wanted a little bit more information on carbohydrates. So that's going to be August 18th. Then the next one's going to be 3 weeks after that because I've got something on the second week after that. That's just going to be on cooking basics. I have people, you know, that they want to eat healthier, but they just don't have those basic skills kind of in the kitchen. So I'm going to share some information and some documents and show you some stuff there. And then the one after that will be 2 weeks after that. And that's for cooking for 1 or 2. So we're going to talk about cooking. We talked about meal planning, but a lot of people, it's just me, or it's just me and one other person. Meal planning is still important for you. You just don't need as big of a meal. You just need to plan smaller. If you do have recipes, say, you know, you had a family and now the kids are all out and whatever else, how to take those family recipes that you've always loved and make them just for 1 or 2. You can't just divide it in half because there are certain things you don't divide in half, you know. It'll mess up the recipe a little bit. So also, if you need any other information, you can always email me or follow us on our social media on Facebook or Twitter. But I'm going to exit out of this screen right here. And I'm going to, yes, okay. I'm going to send you all of this information in your email, and I'll do it shortly after. Here, let me get this screen out of the way. Pull up my PDFs. There we go. Go back here. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna, if I can, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think you can unmute yourself if you have a question, but I'm gonna show you these things first. So one of the things I'm gonna send you is I tell you to buy when in season, okay? This is a document here that was created about what's available when, okay? So this is just general across the United States. It might be specific, you know, a little bit different in the state you're in or if you're somewhere else. But, you know, if I tell you that, like right now, strawberries, you know, strawberry season kind of ends in August. That's when the fresh strawberries are around, is that April through August season. So in a couple of months, if you're looking for strawberries, they're going to be in the store, but you're going to be paying more for them than you were just a month or 2 ago. Same thing if you're, you know, looking at, you know, sweet potatoes. They're going to come in, they're starting to come in the fall and winter time. But if you're looking for sweet potatoes in the summer, the cost is going to go up higher. So if you can buy this, you know, the different fruits and vegetables when in season. So it might mean that September through November, that's when you're eating a lot of apples. But then June through August, that's when you eat a lot of blueberries. So you get all of the different fruits all the year round. One of the other things, this is the calendar I showed you with Iowa State University here. So it's got the different links. So I can click on the Mexican chicken soup recipe. It takes me to their website of this particular recipe. Now I can go up here and click on recipes and look at, oh, you can't see this. It's not sharing the screen. Okay. When I opened the link up, it didn't take you to the link. It took me to the link. So it takes you to their recipe for the Mexican chicken soup. You can see this serves 8 people. You can see if you're looking at, you know, budget, it only costs 82 cents per serving to make this. It has all the ingredients, has the nutritional facts right there. So you can just do that to look at their meal plan. So you can click on any of these kinds of things. So I'll send you that calendar. Kentucky also has another calendar too. This is their August calendar. If you go to the website that I will send you, it has one for August, July, and June. So you can see right here, it's got a recipe for every single day. Some of them have pictures, some of them don't, but every single day, if you click on the actual number, it'll take you to that particular website. You know, if I click on the corn and sweet potato confetti salad. So this is a simple meal plan. I don't care if you use their meal plan or if you want to do your own. And they have it interactive in this PDF here. So I can, sorry, I didn't mean to go to the second page. I can check right here that I liked this recipe. So I can save that. They've got them all individually, all the different websites. You can even scan this calendar to your smartphone using the little smart, the QR code. So there's a lot of different recipes and websites already out there for recipes. Last thing I'm gonna do is take you to this website really quickly. If it lets me, okay. This is the Diabetes Food Hub website that I briefly showed you. So they have a lot of information just about, you know, cooking. They have different videos, different tips. They have featured recipes, all kinds of it. So you can browse their recipes in the different sections. You know, you can filter the recipes. I want a particular type of cuisine, you know, or you can, I want main dishes, or I want one pots. I want cooking for one or two. I want holiday recipes. So there's so many different ways that you can browse through their recipes. And then you just, if I say, let me pick one real quick. Ooh, this beef stroganoff looks really good. So I'm gonna click on the beef stroganoff, and you know, it's got all the ingredients, the directions, all of that right here. I can log in. I'm not logged in at the moment, and I can click on save to my recipes. And it's gonna save these recipes in my cookbook, my little list of recipes. Then I can take them, and again, you have to be logged in. I can plan my meals. Okay, I wanna do it this day, and then it goes even further, and you can create a grocery list using those meals, okay? So I like these, you know, again, utilizing these different websites. The recipes have been approved by someone who does food and nutrition. It's been approved by a registered dietitian. It's been, you know, made to be for people with diabetes, or the heart.org, the American Heart Association website, is made specifically for people with heart health issues. So are there any specific questions that any of you have about any of this stuff? I'm going to send you all of the information shortly in an email, but I do want to check with you, and I will send you the links to my other workshops that I've got coming up. So if you want to go ahead and register for those, you can.
I've got a question, Jennifer.
Sure.
This is Amy.
Okay.
What about, I have recipes that have ingredients with spices.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a recipe that I probably will never use that spice again.
Mm-hmm.
But the spice, you know, the spices are very expensive, yeah. I think. I have learned to do in the Mexican section because they're cheaper. But what other advice might you have?
I will, some of it's going to be a trial and error kind of thing. Some spices are very similar to, you know, each other, or it's going to get the same type of tasting, or there are some that just taste just as good. Like when we do roasting vegetables, we'll say, here's a range of spices that work for these vegetables, but it's going to be a personal preference of like, ooh, I really don't like thyme, or I really don't like sage, or whatever else. But no, they can get expensive sometimes. I always buy, again, store brand. So I probably don't have a McCormick brand spice in my house. But I just kind of stick to my main ones. And some of the times I just don't use the spice. I use a different spice. I do have some, I'm actually growing. Herbs are very easy to grow if you're interested in growing your own basil, oregano, or something like that. But even just Googling, what is a good substitute for, and then put your spice or herb in there. If you have like a specific, you know, spice or something, you know, you could just shoot me an email about that, and I can give you some other recipes that incorporate that. And so that's something good. Again, when you're searching these websites, you can search whatever that particular spice is. There's a lot of recipes out there with them. But a lot of times I just leave the spice out. I put something else in it that'll give me that flavoring. Because some of it,
Yeah.
some of the times, if you are putting the spices in at the wrong time, you're wasting the spice anyway. Certain spices are very, like strong. And there's a difference between if you're using a dried spice or a fresh spice, because certain things you have to put in at the beginning of your recipe. Other ones you put it in at the end, because if you put it in the beginning, you're going to burn off that spice and it's not going to do you any good. You're not going to taste it anyway. So any other questions? But I have a whole
Hello,
workshop
Janet.
just on herbs and spices.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello,
Hello.
hi. This is Muhammad Yunus again.
Mhm.
Hi. Just one question. What is the effect of red chili? Because I'm fond of eating and using red chili too much. So, what do you think? If it is used in abundance, what is the bad effect on your health using red chilies too much?
I'd probably have to do a little bit more research looking at that. I mean, anything that you use in abundance can cause some types of problems. I'm always telling my husband or other people who like a lot of spice in it, I'm like, you're just gonna burn off all your taste buds. So I'll look that up, specifically that one, and I'll see what I can find for you. I don't know of anything off the top of my head that would be wrong with using it, but we always say everything in moderation as well. But let me look that up and I'll shoot that to you in the email, because I did see you wanted me to send you a certificate too, so I'll send that when I send the information. You said red chilies, is that what
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll look it up and see what else I can find. Okay.
Yeah. One more.
Sure.
What is the health benefits of garlic? Is it
Garlic.
going to reduce your is it going to reduce your cholesterol level? It is being said and written too much on garlic. So is this a reality, or it's just nowadays it's becoming a myth or whatever? Because garlic is too much emphasis on the use of garlic.
Yeah.
Is it going to reduce actually your cholesterol level? Is it correct?
Well, and again, I've seen studies both kind of ways. It's just like, eggs used to be good for us and they were bad for us. Now they're good for us again. I think that there's different research on garlic. I love garlic. I use it a lot. But when I'm using different seasonings, I kind of look at the purpose of it. I don't want, my recipe to be just completely overwhelmed by any herb and spice, because I'm losing the taste of it, because all I'm tasting is the garlic, but I want to flavor my food well enough. Now, if I'm using the garlic to spice up, a rather bland dish, and it's going to help me eat healthier, I mean, because I put, I'm trying to think of when I've used garlic most recently, but if I'm cooking like asparagus sometimes, in the pan, I'll put a little garlic in there. That to me is worth eating the garlic. That's an okay use of garlic, because I'm getting a veggie out of it. I'm getting something that's going to benefit me. Now, if I'm just putting garlic on starchy vegetables, then I want to rethink just what I'm eating. Maybe I shouldn't be eating this if the only reason I'm eating it is because I'm overloading it with garlic. But I haven't seen anything in particular recently about garlic being, unhealthy or concerning. I'm very hesitant to say that it ever has good properties, like, oh yeah, it's great to lower your cholesterol, because usually the organizations that do some of those studies are the creators of garlic. Like, the companies that sell garlic, they're the ones doing the research that's going to come out saying garlic will help you lower your cholesterol.
Okay. Good.
I've seen campaigns of sugar is going to help you do this. Well, that research study was funded by the Sugar Association. So of course they're going
Yeah.
to tell you that. So I'll add that to the list and see if I can find any new recent journal articles specifically about garlic. Okay.
Great. One more, the last one even.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, this garlic. When I was living in Saudi, I have seen that garlic cloves are dipped in extra virgin olive oil. So, does the effect of garlic uh, goes into that extra virgin olive oil, or it's just uh, what is your opinion on that? Because dipping of extra virgin olive oil in garlic, the effect of garlic, mixed up in extra virgin olive oil, it's just a separate thing.
Yeah, I would look at kind of those two a little bit separately because I would want to look at yeah, is this garlic dipped in olive oil? Because that olive oil has good heart health properties. So it could be that those studies or that information you were talking about that you've seen garlic is good for your cholesterol. Well, it could be it has nothing to do with the garlic. It's the fact that it's dipped in olive oil, and olive oil is the unsaturated fats, which are good for our heart. So it could be that
Yeah.
it's just the fact that it's being dipped in olive oil. So the whole point is eat more olive oil, not eat more garlic. So, but I'll look and see how much garlic is being, being dipped into that oil versus others. So I'll look at the different research and whatever I see. But I've seen one of the facts is garlic is very low in calories. It's very low in saturated fat and low in sodium. It's got good minerals, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, zinc, all of that. And those things are going to be good for your heart. They're also good in B vitamins too. So there are benefits of garlic. I just don't know at what point is too much, and I don't want you to feel that, I have some people, cool, I'll eat unhealthy, but I'll just put garlic on everything, thinking that garlic is going to take the place of the fact that they're not eating any real fruits or vegetables. So, but it's been shown to have some properties. Now I've seen information about garlic in its raw form is good to help your cholesterol, but I'm not sure about how much, if that's a big enough benefit in it, or if it, once you cook it, if you cook that raw garlic down or you've processed it, is it still getting the same health benefits than if you were, eating it in its raw form? So, but I do see some, I have seen some information about that particular herb, but it goes, it's kind of, there's some studies that show this, but not enough to say that garlic is the way to go. So, but
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put that information on my list to send you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Jennifer,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Phyllis.
Okay.
We enjoyed the program. We were about 15 minutes late getting in, so I just wanted
Okay.
you to. But we
See?
enjoyed. Thank you.
Okay, good. Well, and I will send you I'm going to send everybody, like I said, all this information, and I'll send you the link to the recording.
Okay.
And if you want to catch up to those first 15 minutes, then you can do that. Or if, you just want to hear something again or look at something again, you'll have the PowerPoint and all of the handouts and links in the email. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, then we will go ahead and end. Again, our next workshop will be August 18th, and it'll be on counting carbohydrates. And I will send you that link to register for that as well. Everybody have a good day.
Enjoyed
Bye.
it, Jennifer.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye. Thank